Attention, bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Japheth, with
Jackie.
and
Hi, this is Disney Food Blog.
Oh, go away, Disney Food
no
Blog.
one likes you. Fake food news. So Peter's here with us, and Peter brings up a little hint, a little.
If our title didn't give away the title of our episode didn't give it away.
Well, I didn't say it yet, so but I know it's on. I know it's written down, but maybe they didn't read
For
it.
those who are just blindly listening to us.
Welcome.
We're talking about like news, Disney news, and it's not
Yeah.
like we're not going to go into what the news is about, like what's the latest and greatest.
No.
There's plenty of that out there.
Yes.
You don't need us to do that for
Nope.
you. But it's more of like, where do we get our information from? You know, where do we get our Disney fix? Who's our dealer?
There's a lot of it.
There's so much out there. As you know, there are so many Disney podcasts. Good ones? I don't know. That's subjective. According to us, we are a 5-star podcast.
That's it.
Yeah.
With her one reviewer.
No, there's 9 reviews.
Is there 9?
No,
reviews?
there's one review. There's
One
like
review.
nine, like
9 5 stars.
Nine
9
5 stars.
people that ranked us 5 stars. There we go.
that's
Yeah,
legit.
so reminder, just give us some good stars.
Give
Yeah.
us a good review. It helps
Yeah.
Spread our podcast out there, gets it out to more
Brings
people.
awareness.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with you, Jackie. What are your news sources? Where do you get the latest and greatest for you?
So I get a lot through YouTube and TikTok. Those are like my main sources.
So you got your YouTube, so your TikToks, are they like the quick fix kind of like information,
Yeah.
or are they just kind of funny moments?
No, they're definitely like the quick fix. There's an individual. Let me pull up his info. Sorry, I'm not prepared.
How dare you? Unprofessional.
Considering
know.
we were talking about the first Mandalorian episode for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Before we started recording this, yeah.
I don't know. It's the David Vaughn. I don't know. He does weekly updates for Disneyland. So I enjoy those. He does like quick 30-second weekly updates.
What is the update about Disneyland?
Just like construction updates, closures, new foods.
Treehouse is still under construction.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like little things. Even though like I'm not going to the park every day, it gets my fix.
Of like, ooh, that would be fun.
It makes me feel like I'm still involved in the day-to-day parks, even though like I'm not planning on going to the parks anytime soon.
That is true. When you work on the parks, you know everything that's going on. 'Cause you have to
Yeah.
tell guests like, hey, this is closed and this is working here, and like, oh, this just opened up. Guess we'll be asking about this. And
Yes.
so when you're in the mix working for the parks, you just know so much because you're either going or you're working there, and you find out. But once you're out, you do have a void and of what's going on.
Well, the funny thing was when I was working at Disney World, I didn't get any information from Disney as to what was going on. I had to go through external sources to get my news in terms of what's happening in the parks. Like, I didn't even know Living the Seas with Nemo and Friends was even a thing from Disney. I had found that out later on. Like, I happened upon...
You were just like casually walking
I
through,
casually-
like Animal Kingdom was like, what is this
No, no,
place
no.
right here?
I was just visiting Epcot one day, and I was all like, I just see cast members flashing their badge at somebody by Living with the Seas, and I was all like, okay, I flashed my badge, and it was cast member previews for the little Nemo ride.
You weren't on the hub.
No, and so
I could only imagine what the hub looked like back in like
yeah.
2007, 6, yeah.
6, yeah, and so it's just like. I was just like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then I also got to do cast member previews for Finding Nemo the Musical, which I didn't learn through the hub. I learned through external
So for
sources.
those who don't know, the hub is like Disney Google. It
Pretty
has like all
much.
the information,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
an
like
internal.
All the stuff that Disney wants cast members to know.
yeah, it's an intranet. It's not accessible to the public.
Yeah, when in both of my roles in bell service and front desk, I was in front of a computer all day when I was working, and when it was slow, like you
It
can't.
was your legal way of like they had like Donald classified, so you can like scroll through and say like who needs a roommate, and you're like that guy's a serial killer, stay away.
It's true. But like if you had nothing to do, like you would just be reading the hub or looking at other cast members.
Oh, Snoop,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It would be like total Facebook stalking almost, but like
I didn't have that much time on it since I was just a lowly, monkey pushing the go button on the attraction. So isn't that what Eisner's called us? Like people that work in the park. It's like even a monkey could do this job or something. Like he said
Right,
something
he
where
did say
it's
something
stuck
like
with
that.
like cast members from that era,
Oh yeah.
and that's why they get paid so low. Thank you, Eisner. So. So you're getting your fix from that.
yeah, I like to get my quick news from TikTok, like what's updated, and then also like YouTube is a big one. As far as like main news sources, like big updates, announcements, and stuff, there's a couple or a few that I like. Fresh Bake is a big one.
Fresh Bake.
What is
yes.
Fresh Bake?
It is. He's been on for a while.
He's been doing it since pretty much when construction started for Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland.
He's like boomed.
That's when he started.
His channel?
Yeah.
No, he's been on there longer.
I'm pretty sure that's. I
So
mean, I could be
give
wrong,
give an
but
actual year so people don't, because not everyone knows when
was like-
construction began, including
I
myself.
would say like 2016.
That's pretty new for YouTube. So we don't have anybody from like the beginning of time.
There,
in
there,
YouTube.
there,
are.
there are.
Have they sold
um,
out? Are they not worth it anymore?
There's several of them. Some of which I still follow. There's Justin Scar, or Random Land is his channel. He did a lot of Disney content early on that when nobody was doing it. Now everyone does it, but he was one of the. There was a few that did Disney content. He was one of them.
Because you'll see some channels where they did like the history stuff, and they're like, "Well, we did all the history, signing out." Like,
Yeah.
and they're done.
Yeah.
And also when YouTube changed their monetary system, where people were making
Yes.
like hundreds or $1,000
Yeah.
and now they're like, "Here's $11," and they're like,
Right.
"What?" And so, it wasn't profitable, and so people are like, it's not worth the
Nope.
week worth of time producing this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fresh Bake's been on since 2012, by the way.
2012. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. But no, he does a really great like job like putting together scripts of the news and updates, and I like him because he pulls a lot of real good sources
Yeah.
to update the news. Stuff that like before Disney announces. So he's not a copy and paste person from an article.
Not us.
No.
Wikipedia is really effective for
Yeah.
us.
Like this is his full-time job, and you can tell it is. He puts a lot of
He went
time in
full
it.
time within the last couple years.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
remember when he said like, "This has now become my full time gig."
I hope they don't burn out. That's the biggest story on YouTube people is that they do it and they find success, and then within like 4 years they're like, it became a job, and a job I resented, and I don't for me it's like thinking about like working in the park where you're like you can't enjoy being in the park because all you think about is work.
Well, that's what's really good about Fresh Baked. So like, if you watch his show, it's not just news. It's a lot of him just like, I'm just going out to. He calls it the Disney wins. Like he'll go into the park with no plan and just be like, "Let's go left," and he'll just go left, and like it's like, I feel like we need to do the Mark Twain today, and he'll just get on the Mark Twain and like
He sets up a riverboat gambling
Yeah.
underground there.
right,
Totally.
and so
He's
like
got the 3 cards and he's all like, catch the card, which one is it?
he honestly like shows me like what I would love my life to be like,
Right.
I'm just gonna go to Disneyland and just like hang out for a couple hours and just do whatever I feel like doing. Like he doesn't have a plan. He just goes and just does stuff. He goes, you know what? Let's do Autopia. Let's go for an Autopia ride. And like he'll just like he has no. Sometimes he just has no plan. Like a lot of times he does. Like he's going there for a purpose. He's like, I've got to film construction updates. I got to show crowd levels and things like that. But
Yeah, he's a great resource for like park information. Like Disney parks, if you want that, especially, I mean, and his focus is Disneyland.
It's
of
Disneyland.
course.
yeah, he's only been to Disney World a handful of times. So
Yeah. Another good resource, and this one's based out of London, is DSNY Newscasts.
I remember when he started.
Yeah, he really boomed. He gives really good detail information. He will look at patents that are filed recently, and like speculate possible attractions.
He's trying to get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Trying to speculation news.
Yeah, he keeps an eye on what things are filed by the parks, and stuff. So you get some really good details with that one.
And you can kind of have fun with like, what do you think it's for? And like, oh, maybe that'd be cool if it's this or that.
Yeah. Those are like probably the two biggest one as far as news resource. And then I watch a lot of like Disney vloggers where they just like vlog their life and Disney. And it's just like a casual thing. And those are like those that I enjoy too. So
All right, Peter, what do you got?
Okay, so like Jackie, I also have my YouTube sources, but I also have a couple podcasts that I'll listen to as well.
After you listen to the Matterhorn Yodelers.
After I listen to the Matterhorn
yes,
Yodelers,
of course.
Even though you're the one that edits.
I'm the one who edits
edits
it.
you,
I
but I
listen to
gotta
it more
listen.
than anyone else. Yes, listen to the Matterhorn Yodelers. So like my YouTube channels, like I remember, well, the funny thing was, so like with going back to Fresh Bake, like I remember watching them early on, and I was first introduced to him. He was like in like a debate with another YouTuber, Disney YouTuber, and I totally disagreed with him. I go, no, he's wrong. No, he frustrates me as a Disney fan. Like he infuriated me. And then because I'd watched a video, because there was somebody else that I was watching for, but then because he was there, he started showing up on my feed, and that's how I got into Fresh Baked. And then, I fell in love with his style. He doesn't do it the way he used to do it, but I still enjoy the way he does things now.
You've grown with his evolution.
Yeah.
Right, and I finally understand his perspective, and then like I see where he's coming from now, whereas before I did not understand his frame of logic when it came to his certain opinions he had.
Kind of his perspective on
Right.
approaching the park.
Right. But so like yeah, that one I'm a big fan of Fresh Baked. But the other places, other YouTubers, I mentioned, Random Land with Justin Scar. Mm-hmm. He doesn't just do Disney. He does other stuff. Like he does a lot of like Route 66 and roadside attractions.
He's been around for a long
Yes.
time. I'd probably say like an OG.
He's an OG YouTuber without a doubt.
Yeah.
And he's still going strong. He does interviews with, like, he's friends with the voice of Mickey, or yeah, who's friends?
Wow.
Yeah, like he hangs out with him.
That'd be weird.
And I learned something. So the voice of Mickey, he actually works at Knott's Berry Farm driving their train.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because he like actually asked Disney, he's like, hey, can I learn to drive your train like at Disneyland? And they're like, no. And then he was like, oh, so he went over to Knott's Berry Farm and like, yeah, sure, we'll teach you. And then
He's all
drive
doing the
train.
Mickey voice,
Yeah, I
confusing.
know,
Yes,
right?
he's like, what's going on? Come on board.
Right. And Justin, he also is good friends with Bob Gurr. Like he's even introduced him on several panels and things like that. So like he's well connected within the Disney community.
Yeah.
So he's a great resource. One of the things that he does occasionally, and he collects old footage and photos of old Disneyland, and like he'll kind of paint you a picture of what certain areas look like, experiences that used to be at old Disneyland. Those are really cool.
That's kind of what we was discussing after the last podcast recording. Like, if I could make a cool website, it would be like Google Maps,
but with old photos.
but with old photos where people can put in their photos, and people can like be like, oh, it was at this time, and eventually like an AI could sort through it going, no, it can't be because this is here. But it's kind of cool that people are, doing that kind of stuff and analyzing it. I had a teacher when I was going to school. He was a geography teacher, and his thing was postcards, because they were like a snapshot in time. Not everyone had a camera, but people do like postcards, and so he would do like analysis of postcards.
Right.
Oh.
So I was like, and when you said that, I was like, oh, I can see that like being kind of fun and see that snapshot in time.
Right. So yeah, so he does that. So like he's a really good historical resource, and he likes, kind of like I know popular channel. I don't necessarily watch them a lot, but I know a lot of Disney fans like TPM vids, where they're like, top, like 5
Oh.
animatronic breakdowns or 5 fastest attractions.
Oh, that's too nerdy for me.
So like, yeah, very much like that. But I also watch another one that's kind of related with Justin Scard is Adam the Woo. Not a Disney YouTuber, but he does love Disney a lot. He actually got banned from Disney World. He actually received a lifetime ban from Disney World.
What did he do?
He trespassed. He went to River Country.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's the guy
yeah.
that went in there and filmed River
And
Oh,
Country.
he's the guy that
He's
did the
the guy-
snorkeling gear and all that,
Mhm.
and when it. Oh boy.
Yeah. So, but he had a good lawyer that came and was able to get him back into the park with certain conditions. So he
No snorkel
he's
gear.
he's another OG YouTuber.
Yeah.
His original content was very much like trespassing, going to places he's not supposed to, and filming. He's definitely evolved and changed, and he does a lot of traveling and things like
A
that.
lot of
but-
movie, like.
Yeah, he does a lot of movie locations.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
That sounds fun.
He loves Back to the Future, so he's done that a few times. Filming locations.
You went
but-
to Hill Valley.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Great Scott.
So those are my main YouTubers.
Are there any like bad YouTubers that
Yeah,
you're
that
like
stay away from.
that stay away from? Any that you've like seen, you're like, ugh.
Pass. You just have to say, I'll pass on this.
Yeah.
So I there was one place where I used to get my Disney news, and this was they kind of have their own network, so they've got their podcast, they've got their YouTube channel, sort of combination. Was the Diz Unplugged.
Yeah.
I just felt there was like this like entitlement behind it. They're like, so posh, and like, I can't believe they didn't lick my fingers for this at this dining experience at the Grand Floridian. It's
Well, as much as
atrocious.
you're paying, you would hope
Like,
someone would be
it's-
licking your fingers
it's-
after your.
I don't know. There's just this like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal to stay at the Grand Floridian. No, it's a big deal.
That's
to
a
stay
huge
there.
deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge
If
deal.
you're along the lake, you're big time.
Yes.
Or you feel like
If-
you're big time.
If you're around Bay Lake, absolutely. But yeah, I kind of got a weird feeling with that group, and I kind of moved away from
Did
them.
you feel like they were like bought out by Disney?
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah, you could totally tell the channels that
They turned into advertisement.
they're pure advertisement for Disney. Like the fake, like, oh, this food is so good.
Well, it's funny though, because at least the one thing I can say with the Diz was they're actually open with the fact that like if Disney invited them to something, they're not going to give a review on something, they'll tell you about their experience, but they're not going to tell you whether or not it was good or bad. They're just going to tell you, this is what happened when we went and when Disney invited us to do this.
Yeah.
I can see that. Like, if
Yeah.
like, there's like a media day, like
Right.
a new restaurant, and it's like, that's cool. Like, they know they got to get the word out, and these people have X amount of followers.
Right. So, like,
I
at
know.
least
I always
they're
keep
a
turning
little-
them down. I'm like, no. We're grassroots kind of like podcast. we can't do that.
Stop inviting me to the opening of, Magic Happens Parade.
I was like, hey, my daughter's got swim lessons at Aqua Tots, all right? And I'm getting Barro's pizza afterwards, all right? Barro's.
But I moved on from them, from my news source, and I went to WDWNT, which is Walt Disney World News Tonight, or News Today. News Tonight is something else. I'll talk about that in a minute.
That's the after hours.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is the after hours, and I'll talk about that.
You got the cleaning lady.
So
There was a ghost down in Toontown.
But no, these guys, I would consider them probably the most legitimate of the news sources. They're definitely not bought out by Disney or anything like that. They are free to be as negative as they would like to be on a lot of things, and they are very open about how their feelings are. And if you've been listening to our show for a while, you might remember, hey, Bob Chapek. Well, that voice that I use, I pull from them.
Bob's actually got a deep voice. He's like, hey, I'm the CEO. And everyone, like, they turn him into Napoleon.
right.
It's like, it was like, Napoleon was short. It's like, nah, he was like 5'8". He was a good height back in the day. You know,
Right.
it's like, Bob may have a deep voice. Who knows?
But
He doesn't.
I don't know.
but I mean,
It's like Captain Hook. He's French, right?
Yeah.
I'm just making this up as I go.
but they're very thorough with their news. So they cover all the news for every theme park around the world. So they'll even talk about Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong, Tokyo. They share the news all around. So if you need your, like, they even talk about, like, okay, these are the new food items at this restaurant that just came out. Like, they won't do the review right there. They'll just tell you these are the things that have come out. They're very thorough in that regards. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea to know, oh, this new merchandise came out. A lot of people don't care about that. But if that's your thing, they're a great resource for that. They do a lot of reviews. A lot of that's seen on their website. So they've got a website which has all their news articles and things like that. So they do have writers.
They got like a little
And you
feed.
see a lot of their news stuff on Facebook.
Yes.
A lot of their articles will pop up on Facebook.
And the main guy, Tom Corliss, he's got connections. He's got sources, and there's been some things that he has done that has had direct impact on the theme parks. So, like, he made a statement about at Disney World that Brer Bear at Splash Mountain didn't have a tail. A week later, the tail was there.
Did he have a tail before?
It was there, and then for like a decade, it wasn't there. And then he made a comment, and then a week later, it was there.
Oh, so the engineers or Imagineers, somebody heard it, and they're like, oh, yeah.
He's also the guy behind the rumor that Country Bears was going to close for a Toy Story marionette show.
I'd watch it.
And then Tiki Room was going to close for a Moana overlay.
Ooh, I don't know about like that.
And supposedly that put him on Bob Chapek's bad list. Was when he said that.
Because he's
when he put that.
spilling news that wasn't supposed to be
And
spilled yet.
Disney fans went nuts, and all of a sudden they went silent. And Disney was always denying it, but then all of a sudden artwork came out for the Moana overlay of the Tiki Room, and he goes, see, I wasn't lying. It's there. It exists. And his marionette show hasn't been proven, but he goes, somebody at Imagineering, send it to me. I know this thing exists. But
yeah, you got to have some insight into
Yeah.
the Imagineering group.
he's like this guy is, like, they used to do, like, he does their news I think twice a week for Walt Disney World and all the other parks, and then he does Disneyland once a week. I think on Thursdays is when he does Disneyland news. And again, they're very thorough. Then he has another channel. It's WDW NT TV. That's their other channel where they do a lot of their unique style programming, where they'll do like merchandise unboxing and things like that. And then they have what's called WDW News Tonight, which is kind of like their weekly. I don't want to call it like Saturday Night Live, but it's kind of like their late night talk show, basically. So like he has like a comedy monologue where he kind of makes fun of the Disney parks for that week. Has some few jokes. They make silly commercials. They'll play some games, some trivia.
Seems like a very niche
Yes.
Oh, it is.
kind of show.
Oh, very much is. But they're right now starting their March Madness tournament bracket for, I think,
It's attractions? Or?
No. This year it's food.
Oh.
we did
items.
something like that when we, just at the beginning of COVID as a family.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did like the attractions at Disney World.
Where do you think I got the idea from?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was pre-podcast when we did that.
Yeah, that was kind of like, I think that really got the ball rolling. Because
Yeah.
we'd had conversations about, what was it? We were talking about like just like family get-togethers, and we'd ask a question, and we would do like our little like, no way, that's not right.
Yeah.
Right.
And and I think, a couple of these family get-togethers were like, hey, I think we can definitely, you got the ball going on that,
Yeah.
Jackie.
I sent a text. It was so nerve-wracking sending that text. Because I was like, oh, they're either going to judge me or be all down, like, good for it. And luckily, you guys were good for it.
Yeah, I imagine our responses were simple, like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're very, our
Yeah,
response
it
back
was
to each other are
like
very
one
like
word.
one phrase.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Sounds cool.
It totally
I'm
is.
down.
If you could see our text chain, it's like me going, yeah,
Yes.
Cool.
No.
Okay. And
Maybe.
then it depends if like we want to throw in a Star Wars GIF like conversation
Yeah.
in there.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
We're deep and profound when our text.
So, but that's the WDWNT bubble here. But I've got other Mickey Views. Do you watch Mickey Views?
no, I've never heard of them.
He's probably the greatest source in terms of like he knows people on the inside.
Oh, really?
So like he revealed the information about like when the Epcot Forever fireworks, the Harmonious show, like all of that before anybody announced anything. Like this kid started with monorail train reviews when he was like 10 or something like that. But now
the blue ones appear to the back one.
but like his news, like when he drops news, like things that nobody's talked about.
So you're ahead of the curve, kind of like.
Yeah, he's very good. So yeah, those are my news.
There's so many resources out there.
There is. There absolutely is. My podcast, I listen to the Disney Dish.
They talk about food.
No, they don't. No Disney news. The thing I like about this podcast is that people send them their Disney surveys, and they talk about the surveys that Disney sends out. And they have a discussion about that. I mean, they do have news. They do the Disney news for the week, but I like listening for their discussion on these surveys that are coming out. Like, why do you think Disney's sending this out?
Why?
Or Universal is
You're
sending
looking
this out?
into what they're trying to get.
What
Correct.
information they're getting.
And so it's fun. It's fun to listen to that. There was a podcast I used to listen to, I just don't have time for, which kind of inspired a lot of discussions that we've had in the past. I'm trying to remember. They are. Let me pull it up on my phone.
Have you heard other podcasts use our stuff?
No.
Oh.
Oh, I have seen our topics come up on other podcasts like a couple weeks later.
So we may
So
have,
they won't
perhaps-
reference us specifically.
Oh no, of
but-
course not. I actually I looked up and somebody was doing a game, and his name that he chose was the Matterhorn Yodelers, and I was all like, "Whoa!" And it was after we had started too.
So so the podcast I'm talking about is called the TTA, so based off of the People Mover. They very good. They're just casual, very casual. They do the Disney news like everyone else, which is why we don't do it because
No,
everyone else does it. And
we just don't
and
have
it
the
dates-
resources for it either. We
We
don't
don't-
have the inside.
we don't have the
We
resources.
don't go to the parks regularly. You
Yeah.
have to be in proximity
We don't
to at least one.
We don't record every week. We
No.
record twice a month.
Yeah.
Twice, maybe even once a month, if we need to get ahead or something. But but they have very fun, casual discussions. Really good. Another good one. This one's probably an OG Disney news person would be WDW Radio with Lou Mangello. He's connected to everyone. Like he interviews like old park managers and people who were in charge of certain projects and things like that. Like I remember listening to him talk about to this guy who was in charge of like special projects for Disney, and like this guy was responsible for the turkeys being pardoned, Buzz Lightyear going into space, like the toy, sending that up into space, the Super Bowl,
Parades
you
and
just
stuff.
won the Super
So he's set up
Bowl.
for
What are
that.
you gonna
Yeah.
do? Like he was the guy that helped get that started. Like that was kind of a cool. So like, he's a great resource to go back and listen to, and a lot of his episodes aren't necessarily because he's not really news related either. Kind of like us, he's just kind of like topic driven. So it's a good podcast to jump in on.
These guys who do those type of podcasts are really like historians, because I've
Yeah.
pulled
Big
from some of
time.
their ones where they've done really good interviews with people who worked with Walt or under Walt,
Yes.
and you get some really good perspectives, because these people are like, yeah, I just worked and then I retired, and it's like, but their influence was so impactful to like the Disney culture that we all appreciate.
Right.
And like these stories get lost because, how many people have their story actually written down, but just the ripple effect of being proximity of Walt, people are like, whoa, I want to know more.
Yes. Absolutely. But I would probably say the place where I used to get my news was Mice Chat. I used to get my news there.
Yeah.
But I don't
Their
know.
page is too gunked up. Of
Still
my
got a bad
chat.
interface.
The only
It
time I go
totally
there
is.
now is I go on their page on April Fool's Day. They've got a good April Fool's
We
article
are
every
we are
year.
on Mice Chat. Our faces are on Mice
Yes,
Chat.
because we
Oh, yeah, we did the
participate-
Gumball
the
rally.
Gumball
The Gumball
rally
rally.
that they ran.
Yeah.
So
So try to find us there.
yep. But yeah,
We do have an episode on that. If you really want to
Yes.
know more about the Gumball Rally,
It
cool
was fun.
experience, and I would recommend it for people who haven't done it, who
Yeah.
have fun.
or any sort of scavenger hunt
Yeah.
event that any of these other, because there's several that do these sort of
Events.
events that
and,
do that.
And it seems like they let Disney know that
Oh,
these are
yeah.
happening, that
Oh, they
people
do.
are acting nuts in the park.
Oh yeah. Well, they've got a team specifically designed to watch out for
Silliness.
well, not silliness, but
Groups.
like groups, they keep an eye on certain websites
Or weddings.
that throw these
Yeah.
these quote unquote events, whether official or not official or whatnot. Like they keep an eye on those things.
Yeah.
Like I know even YouTubers like Disney has a team that watches these YouTubers to make sure that everything's on the up and up with them, that they're
Yeah.
not going or doing something
I
they're
know
not supposed to, if they're
before,
misrepresenting
No
like-
flash
the brand.
mobs.
Yeah.
I know before, like, old time, like, Disney vloggers would do meet and greets in the parks.
Oh,
and
no.
They put a huge stop to that.
Yeah. They don't want any kind of
Masses.
Yeah. and-
responsibility of like, oh, this is sponsored by Disney. I was offended by this person in the park. And it's like, no.
Well, and Disney's really had to change a lot of rules because of the Disney media community. There are now signs on construction walls saying, like, do not film
Over the wall.
over the wall.
Oh, you can see someone with like a a selfie stick
Yeah.
going like whoop.
Don't film over the wall, because if you do, that gives them permission to ban you from the park.
She's breaking the rule.
Yep.
Disney rules.
So.
And I don't even care what you are. If you're even famous, they'll ban you.
Oh,
and we'll talk
yeah.
about that.
But that's generally. I mean, there's a few other people, but like those are the main ones that I would say my information usually comes from.
And you seem to have a good like feel of the pulse of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of your enjoyments.
Yeah.
All right. I don't follow anybody. Shocker. I'm the most grounded in reality in this group. No, I'm just joking.
No, you're just not on social media.
I don't have social. I have LinkedIn.
Me too. Are we connected?
I think
we
so.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
we are. See, I have friends.
I have
Your
friends.
sister.
You know, Tom from MySpace. We're friends. He seems legit. He's friends with everyone.
It's true.
No, I don't like actively search for Disney stuff, but I will click on a link
You
that
go click on the clickbait.
I click on the link and I get clickbait.
The clickbait
I get
can
clickbait.
be so bad.
I get clickbait all the time.
There's this one
You got one?
TikTok account. It's called Mousetrap. Like, it's in the name, Mousetrap. But like, they will promote like fake Disney news. So like, there's this one TikTok.
Is it something that's actually published, or do they make it up themselves? Like it's like The Onion.
No, they make it up.
Okay, so it's like The Onion.
Yeah, so like they made up. They're like, oh, Disney's changing the icon from Mickey Mouse to Figment, and like people actually thought this was real.
Oh, I saw a headline recently about
and
that.
I was just like, I was reading the comments to prep for this. I was just curious, and people were just like so serious. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
it's in the name of.
I thought
the
Orange
TikTok.
Bird was becoming the new mascot.
Yeah.
Did-
I thought it was Chubby, the merchandise
Yeah.
bird from Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
And they're
Railway.
like, they're getting rid of Mickey Mouse, and Figment's gonna be the new icon. And it's just like, what on earth? Why would they do that? Like, it's
But we've
still
only
a
been
thing.
successful with this thing for 90 years. Let's
we're
let's
about
mess it
to
up.
we're about to lose the rights. You know, he's about to go into public domain, so we got to change it up.
Yeah, it's just like they'll make these like, and there was like, oh, this one was kind of funny. It was like, oh, Disney's now going to have a paid experience for VIP bathrooms.
I'll pay for it.
I know a lot of people that would pay for
I'll pay
that.
for that.
That I believe would be a real thing.
VIP seating.
If Chapek was in there long enough, absolutely, that would
It'd
be
be
something
like
he would
the
be like.
3-ply like
Which
toilet
which
paper.
which bathroom at Disneyland do you think would become the VIP one? Which existing one? Where they red rope it?
Ooh.
If they cleaned it up, I would probably say the Main Street Opera House. If they
Yeah.
clean that one up.
There's a bathroom by the Opera
Yeah?
House.
Yeah, it's like right next to the entrance. So like if you go through the tunnel, it's like you go through that
okay,
alley.
alright.
It used
It's
to be
next
like
to
the,
the bank,
only
right?
Yeah.
bathroom that had like a manual flusher or something like that. I
don't
think
know
they
if it
changed
does.
that.
They probably did.
I would
but
say the one in between Tomorrowland
Yeah,
and the restaurant there.
by
By
the
the-
first aid.
by the baby care center.
That's
think
it.
so.
Baby
Yeah,
care
yeah,
by the
yeah.
baby care.
Yeah,
I think that
be a
would
good
become because
one.
it's like central.
But like, what would you want as a VIP bathroom?
I'd want
Heated
some-
seats.
Oh man, and heated toilet paper or no cool toilet paper.
Cold
the good,
toilet
the
paper?
good toilet paper,
Yeah.
like the Charmin kind.
Yeah.
Disney toilet paper's the worst.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
you have to bring your own. Like, I literally, as a 30-year-old now that goes to the park, I bring my own toilet paper.
You know, yeah, a seat warmer than somebody there just to like.
Hold your
Bathroom-
hand.
just a
You
bathroom.
know, there's times when you're just like feel and like people like smack it away and you're like, I just need someone to hold my hand. You're all doing the Cosby like breathing. You know how you teach.
I just listened to it the other day.
All right, so
Alright, moving back.
back to clickbait. So today, like I said, I just scroll through and things will catch my eyes. And so these are grouped like headlines. I'm gonna read them and we can just like, riff on it if we want. So I saw one today, and it got me. I was so mad, so mad that it got me. Why Disney's Blizzard Beach Park is closing soon? I was like, what? Are they really closing it down? And then the first sentence in there is like, don't worry, it's only temporary. It's for refurbishment. And I was like, son of a gun.
It's always for
Yeah, they
my
switch it
favorite is
off
when they're
every
like,
other year.
this classic Disneyland attraction is closing.
for
I was all-
1 week.
I was like,
Yeah.
what? I know. And it's just like, you stink. So yeah, these are things to watch out for.
Pirates is closing for a day.
Somebody died there. No, so I got one. Rebel Wilson, who just recently got engaged, banned from Disneyland for breaking an unexpected rule. Oh, what got me? What is it, Peter? What is it called? Unexpected rule. Because
Yeah.
what do you want to know? You're like, what did
the
she do?
rule?
She's
What
a
did she
celebrity.
do? Yeah.
She
Well, I saw my clickbait one that I clicked on was she got banned for taking a selfie.
and you're like, where?
Right. Well, it was like,
It was, like,
was it
backstage,
where?
or-
Was it she had a selfie stick? You
Yeah.
know, because like
You
you
wanna
can't
know the
have an
details.
extended one. Like, what was the rule? Yeah. Like, what rule did she specifically break?
So she was banned for 30 days for taking an illegal photo from a secret bathroom. Bathroom talk. Well, that's us right here. Yeah, as Peter mentioned earlier before this podcast, was in
Club 33.
yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, they're very secretive. It's hard to see
Yeah.
anything from there.
Their women's bathroom has become this like notorious like secret. Apparently, the women's bathroom in Club 33 is like amazing.
Is it like the bathroom in Boy Meets World High
They have
School
a couch.
where they have a couch and
Well,
Sean
like it's
lives
like
there?
padded seats on the toilet, like things like that. Like
Oh,
they
that
they,
takes
they
me back to the
literally-
90s.
I was like, padded seats on a
They
toilet
literally-
does not.
You remember when
sit
we had
well.
one and it started cracking?
Yes.
You couldn't pinch
Started
your butt.
cutting your butt. Yeah.
Padded seats are not luxurious. I'm sorry.
Only if it's carpeted with shag. Other stuff that gets you is like the best Disney memes of the week, and you're like, oh, okay. And I was going through and I was scrolling and scrolling. I was like, dang it, I'm supposed to be doing research right now because they're good. They're people driven, memes. Here's one: 10 highest rated Disney movies that don't have a sequel according to IMDb. And I was all like, oh man, that's garbage.
Well, which Disney movies don't have a sequel? That's a good question.
Snow
What
White?
Disney movies don't have a sequel? I would say
Pinocchio.
I would say
doesn't
anything.
have one.
Let's start with anything from the 90s on up.
Okay.
What doesn't have a sequel?
90s up.
Yeah,
So
from the
90s
90s
till
up.
today.
Hercules.
Bolt.
Hercules had a TV show.
Yeah, but that's not a sequel. That's a prequel.
Okay.
Bolt.
Home on the range.
I was gonna say,
Chicken Little.
because they were sequel quality.
Well, you asked the question.
I did ask.
Yeah, I think Hercules is probably the only one that really didn't get one.
In the 90s, for sure. I mean,
Treasure Planet.
yeah, that one didn't get one.
No.
The end of the Eisner era did
Yeah.
not get any love.
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a thought. I was like, oh, I wonder how many.
Here's one. Another title. A TikToker spotted the most disturbing Minnie Mouse detail, and it went viral due to fans being horrified. This was in Cosmopolitan. So people know that watch Disney cartoons with their kids, Mickey's ears will always rotate to where it shows a Mickey silhouette.
Right.
You'll see his ears, like he'll turn his head and the ears will move. You'll never see a profile of Mickey's ears. You'll see
They did once as a joke.
and it probably flipped out. Like people are like,
No, it was
on purpose.
It was on purpose. Like it was kind of like the point of the show.
Yeah.
Of, like to show that like, oh, his ears.
oh, was it the cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that. But yeah, the lady's like, oh, my kids see this all the time. And it's like, oh, this fake, like, dramatics about them changing the ears. Like, I can't believe I can't. It's just one of those, like, and that's news. Cosmopolitan, reissued it. Here's one. Is Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster being replaced at Disney World?
I see that all the time.
Well, the
but
new
they
rumor,
are.
the rumor right now is it's Queen.
It's gonna be Queen. They're gonna change the music to
And
Queen.
like they said, no, it wasn't. But like,
Well, this was news as of this recording. I think as of this week, it was kind of like talk that it's heavily rumored to be Queen.
Yeah.
and I've heard that people are like flocking to get that last little like
Right in
fix of Aerosmith. Here
due to recent
5
allegations.
things to do on Disney's Wish Cruise, including a spa for adults. Then you get like 10 scariest Disney movie scenes, the scared, terrified viewers. 120 Disney trivia questions only true fans can answer. And I was going through. I was like, "Well, am I a true fan?" I missed like the first 5, and I was like, "I guess I'm not a true fan. I must stink at this." And then this one got me right here. Oh, it was so good. 25 Disney jokes that will give you a good laugh. And I was like, "Oh, this is fun." They're like dad jokes. Here's one. Just one. What did Snow White say when her photos weren't ready? Someday my prince will come.
There you
I
go.
kept singing that. My daughter kept going, "It's Prince! Prince!" She was getting mad on the phone as I was telling my wife this today.
That's so funny.
15 actors who struggled to get a role after leaving Disney or Nickelodeon. BuzzFeed for that one.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get like the movie media one, like the latest ones, like Disney's turning Alien franchise into teen slasher. Haunted Mansion could make a shift towards Disney movies for adults. You know, since
No.
the previews coming. Yeah,
I saw the trailer.
and I was like, nope.
No, it's gonna be like a. I mean, it looks good. It looks better than any Murphy movie, but it doesn't look like.
Oh, that's a high bar to crawl.
Yeah.
Step over on.
But it looks like a direction of looking more like a Pirates sort of.
Yes.
Darker theme.
darker
We're gonna
theme.
hang a little kid within the
I'm
first
excited
5
for
minutes
it.
of.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll get like most Disney stories, The Little Mermaid is based on a much more tragic fairy tale. Most fairy tales, tragic. But they
Yes.
get you on that stuff right there.
Yeah.
What's new on Disney Plus this month? For those who have Disney Plus and watch it, you can't help but click that and going, what am I to expect this month?
Easiest way to do that is just subscribe to the Disney Plus channel on YouTube, and every month they give you they just
Yes.
show you a video of everything that's happening that month. So.
Oh, that's nice. And you'll get like food stuff or like hospitality one. Like my party of 4 spent $400 at the Space 220 at Disney World. It was worth every penny and made me feel like a kid again. You know, like, oh,
like,
is this paid advertisement
yeah.
here? Most people are like, you said $400. And I'm all like, am I getting groceries for 2 weeks for this?
It's kind of like a situation. The Space 220 restaurant, from my understanding, is a very similar situation to like the Living Seas restaurant, where it's like you're more paying for the experience of the
ambience.
restaurant than you are the food.
My favorite thing about that restaurant, Living the Seas,
Was it the reef coral?
I
or
think
something
it's
like
the
that?
reef or some coral. Yeah, the coral reef. I don't know.
Something
But
that.
like they would go there and then they go on Mission Space and then they throw up and I'm like, dude, I would look at him and be like, dude, you just spent $120 on that throw up right there. As it's like goose coming down.
Oh.
They didn't think it was that funny.
I believe it.
So you'd also get like Disney tips. So this one caught my attention. I
The
was like,
Disney tip.
Disney
ones.
tips.
They're
Oh.
always-
they're the worst. You know they're the
They
worst?
are.
The Disney tip podcast.
I know.
episode.
It's one of our best episodes. Best.
And again,
Most
and
listened
that's what you get.
episode.
So you get one. This is what they recommend: unique items to pack for Disney for 2023, not 2022, but 2023. Glow sticks. Oh man, I love living in the year 2023. We got glow sticks we're bringing in.
You just have to buy one of Disney specialty drinks, and you get a little glow cube. There you go. You don't
Yeah,
need
it's
it.
just like, why do you need glow sticks?
don't.
at
So your
Disney?
kid doesn't ask for it. That's just what they're doing. They're trying to
save money.
save money, and they're like extra hair ties.
How about you just tell your child no?
Yeah.
Shocker.
There's like hair ties, toddler size utensils. I was like, there's toddler size I mean, you could bring your own like toddler utensils, but I thought they were like they're disposable ones. Epsom salt for your swollen feet at the end of the night.
Wait,
These are
Wait,
things for your
you're-
trip. You're not bringing it into the park.
I was
You're like
like-
this, like you have this like huge camping backpack. Like, what are you doing in life? I've got my Epsom salt. My feet are swollen.
I was like, what are you gonna do? Rub
your feet?
salt? With
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing your
You
lunch
soak.
break, you just you pull a bowl out, you pour it in there, and you just kind of rub it in the bowl, and
And if you get desperate in line, you can use that to go to the restroom too, because the VIP one's so expensive.
right.
You get on the ride. What can I do with my my bedpan here? You have they're recommending stamps, loose change, for the penny machines.
Well, now you just use a card.
Yeah, it's card.
They do card based now
They
for
do
the penny
cards
machines.
now. Yeah,
That's cool.
So now you don't have to worry about looking for a perfect shiny penny. You just get one now. So
Is it actual? Like, do you think it's an actual penny, or is it just a plain
Oh, yeah.
copper one now?
they
that
show you you see the mechanism. You see the penny fall. So.
Okay.
Soon it will be a fake penny.
Maybe it could be a fake penny.
Yeah.
What else do they recommend? Oh, thin blanket, portable fan, electrolytes, portable charger, portable food. I was like,
Portable food.
Hey, don't bring that chili pot in here. That's not portable.
I brought my spaghetti.
That one made me chuckle when I saw portable food. I was like, don't bring in that giant turkey into the park. But it's portable. I'm moving it.
To find some portable food.
I was like, okay. We can't just say, bring your own
Snack
food. Now we have to say that. You're like, oh, yeah, sorry. They say frog tog chili pads. Those are like cooling things on your neck.
Oh yeah.
Plastic ponchos, flip-flops, kids Tylenol, and scarf or ribbon and hand warmers. You imagine what this person's backpack is like.
I will say ponchos is a win because you don't want to pay for Disney ponchos.
And they're garbage too.
They are.
No,
So you
just
might
embrace being wet.
or buy 20 cheap ones for $2,
Yeah,
and then
we
you're
do
good to
that.
go. Yeah.
It's useful.
And then you have no issue throwing them away after you're done using them.
You can leave them as tip for the cleaning people.
Right.
You get the like merchandise emails where they're like, Lego celebrates 100 with Pixar up house, and so they'll like reveal like Lego reveals 100 sets and minifigure collections, and the Vera Bradley celebration Disney 100th anniversary. And Disney, whenever they have an anniversary, they're gonna throw merchandise,
Oh,
and
yeah.
people love
That's one thing.
throwing those advertisement news articles out there.
Disney's really good with their merchandise. Their merchandise team is really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Except they copy other small shop owners.
It doesn't matter. Like they do a really good job. I've watched this video of like I think it was like a TikTok video or whatever of like this is let's see how long this shelf stays stocked, and like it was literally completely emptied with it was the Loungefly purses.
Oh, yeah.
It was literally gone. Like this whole display was like emptied within like 15 seconds.
Lounge flies have been such a big popular item.
So describe what these are.
They're like little
They're
themed
like themed
backpacks.
purses. They're like
yeah,
themed backpack purses.
of like characters and stuff.
My wife has like 5 or 6 of them.
You see them at like
And they're like-
Lunchbox, like
Yep.
They're like from like $60 to $100 plus.
Oh yeah, I believe it. It's not cheap out there. You'll get park news. The typical like Disneyland unveiled the kid friendliest land in Toontown, LA family travel. And then there's that is me. See how Disney World and Disneyland made it a small world for more inclusive. And you got like the doll and the wheelchair.
Oh, the wheelchair. They added that.
I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that was really nice.
And then you get like the mob Disney like articles. And when I say
What, the
mob,
fights?
and
Oh.
no,
Talking about
I'm
the
talking
fight
about
now.
the mob, meaning like woke and anti-woke
Oh,
news.
yes.
And like that's huge. So I'll read
It
off a couple of
is.
those. Like Disneyland removes controversial zippity doo dah lyrics from its parade. And I clicked and I was like, what
They
was
took
this?
it out of everything.
They took it everything, and the response is because it's in Song of the South, and it's all like It's like, then why did we create a giant ride for it to begin with? But now it's like, nope, it's gone. You have, like, you got the classic battle with DeSantis and Disney. He goes, DeSantis appointee to new Disney
I'm done with
oversight
that.
board suggested tap water turns people gay. I mean, it's just like, people are going to be like, what? That's
Yeah.
weird. And so, like, they get you in these articles. What did Disney actually lose from its battle with Florida? TikTok family apologizes after dealing with backlash over scheme to get 2 short kids on Disney World ride. That was big this week. That
Oh,
kid where
really?
they were gluing soles.
Oh, yeah.
They're giving the kids platform shoes so that they can get them onto the ride.
You know, this happens all the time. It's just because it's public.
And the lady's like advocating like how to break Disney rules.
It's like creating tips. It's like how to break Disney safety rules.
Yeah, I mean, they're there for a reason. You know, it's just... And for most of the cast member working there, I think we mentioned this before. If you make it, you're good. Like, you're the one putting your kid at risk for this. Technically, does he make it?
Yeah.
It's not our job to...
We're not gonna check the
Let me
souls."
check your soul. That's not right. You know,
Right.
like, I imagine they're making new rules where if, like, you see something suspicious where you're like, this kid's got 6-inch platform shoes, you know, do they have legal right to take them off? I'm sure the Disney legal team's trying to figure out, like,
How to get around that or
Yeah.
Well, I think what it is that the height limits themselves are at a point where like there's a give. I think there's like a cup.
Yeah.
There's like an inch give.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they
Because some
round
kids
up.
have, like, longer legs or some kids had shorter legs. And,
Right. And to account for kids who have shoes, I mean, like, obviously your kid is going to be taller wearing shoes than when not wearing
Yeah.
shoes. So I'm sure when they do the height limits, I'm sure, like, if it says 40 inches, I'm sure your kid's going to be fine at 38. But
the
Disney
rule
has
is
to
that,
state a rule.
Our thing is, like, when we were there with the height thing was like, you know, there can't be anything, you know, it has to touch that
The bar.
limit. That
The
has to
bar.
touch the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't look at the shoes. Like, we've had stories of kids like wearing soccer shoes and they've stuffed with extra socks to, you know,
Yeah.
pump them up. So you get like those kind of things that catch your eye. And like that lady was getting so much backlash because, you know, they hit a nerve of like, you're trying to break rules. You get an article like this where Disney must create a disabled princess. You're having people like trying to tell Disney what to do with their
Yes.
business.
Right.
And that's, you know, or Disney workers rebel against return to office mandate, you know, and you get like a lot of these were like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, the mob news you get from those organizations, the mainstream. A lot of the clickbait stuff, you don't see CNN or any of that.
No.
Their clickbait is like that culture war, trying to invoke an emotional response,
Yes.
and they know, you know, how to get their audience riled up. And so those are kind of the things I find on the news, just like that pop up and they get me. Or sometimes I'm going, nope, that's clickbait. You know, anytime they mention a
Yeah.
list, I'm like, nah. except
Number
for jokes.
4 will surprise you.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh
Yeah.
man, what is number 4? Leaving soon. Oh no, I need to click on it soon.
What's leaving?
Yeah, it's
This chandelier's being changed out.
There's some really good resources out there, but there's also those clickbaits, and so you just have to be careful.
you're gonna get stuck in the mud sometimes, and if you do, enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, just be like, oh, you got me. Well, let's stick it
Be
to the
like,
very
oh,
end.
you got me with the VIP bathroom.
I think South Park had an episode like that where they're like, "Oh, the pop-up got me. Oh, you got me. Oh, I'm looking at, you know, plastic surgery mistakes. Oh, you got me."
And like Disney, it just touches everybody's childhood within, and it's one of the world's biggest companies,
Yeah.
and people want to know,
Yeah.
you know, how many other major corporations have like 300 or 400 different podcasts, YouTube channels.
True.
Disney is a unique monster.
Yeah.
Like
It reaches the world and it affects
the
everyone
Disney
in their
fans.
childhood at one point or another.
I can't think
They
of
have-
another fan base like a Disney fan.
and they're
that fan base.
and they're monsters in their own.
Yes,
Oh,
each separate
yes.
one. You know, you got your theme park ones, you got your movie ones, you got your, yeah, it's crazy.
You know, even with like Star Wars fans,
That's a whole.
That's
That's another animal.
there's
There.
like it's almost you can't please them.
It's true. You can't.
Yeah.
Even with Marvel, like there's so much hate for the new Ant-Man movie.
I don't understand why.
I
It was
don't
a
get why the
decent
hate is there.
movie.
It was okay. Was it the greatest Marvel movie? No.
And it's
But it
really
was
hard
okay.
when we've seen almost like 30 like superhero movies. How many variety of stories can we get when it comes to so
A
you're
lot of
really
this-
just following like what's the bigger picture so I understand when the next big movie comes out.
Right.
Well, and honestly, I think just with the trend in news, there's more clickbait and more views when there's drama and controversy and negativity.
Yeah.
Negativity is a big.
And
You
it
get
weighs on your
those-
soul so much like it is with politics. It is also with Disney. And
Big
it's
time.
easy to jump on it. Because nobody wants to read articles about how yummy the cupcakes are all the time. Duh, they're made out of sugar. Everyone loves sugar.
Thank you, Disney.
It'd be
Food
like,
Bar.
I went to Disney and I had a great time at the park.
I ate all this yummy food. Oh, shocker, you know, like
Right.
except for the burger. Yeah, I'm waiting for the food person going, this burger at Pecos Bill was yummy.
The Pizza Planet pizza was delicious.
Move over, Barrows. That's the next pizza of the Matterhorn Yodelers.
Yeah. No. I hear their gluten-free pizza tastes better than their regular
I
pizza.
believe that.
That's what I've heard.
Because the regular pizza's not real. Well, that kind of like rounds up like our thoughts with news. There's so much out there. Like in any regular news out there, you're gonna have to use a filter, and you're gonna see it through your own lens.
Right.
And so just be careful what you're searching. With Disney, for the most part, it's just have fun with it. If you hit that clickbait, enjoy the ride. With that being said, please follow us on our social medias. If you have any suggestions,
Yeah, give us some
An
ideas
episode.
for episodes.
And share this with your friends and family. I mean, this is such a fun discussion. That's why we keep doing it. We're not doing this to be famous or anything like that, but
No.
we enjoy this conversation.
you guys
and
aren't
we-
enjoying the fame. Oh my goodness!
Oh,
You're
yes.
so famous.
I was
Right.
at a red carpet event last night.
My family doesn't stop talking about me.
The red carpet. I mean, my daughter spilling red juice on the carpet. Yes.
No, like share your favorite episode that you've listened to in the past.
Or let us know what your favorite episode is. I would
What
love
what
to
is your
know.
favorite episode,
Yeah.
Jackie?
Ooh, what's my favorite?
Mine's always
episode?
like a day with Walt. I always say that
That's a
because you
hard
get like
one.
the goofy side of that episode,
Right.
with mine, and then Peter like
have
really
a-
brings it in with like
a very
the tearjerker.
serious,
I was like,
like-
whoa.
I liked the music one with Father Yodeler.
Which one? He did like 4 of them.
The very first one.
Was it the theme park one where like we had to guess
Yeah,
where
the theme
thing?
park one. That one was fun.
Which music box? And I was like, there's music boxes.
Right.
That was
I
fun.
know.
That one's fun. I like that one.
Honestly, my favorite ones are probably the ones where I do special intros on. I haven't done one in a while,
Oh,
but those
yeah.
are some of my favorite.
Oh.
Probably my favorite one's the Muppet
The
one.
Muppet one was so good.
I was watching Book of Boba Fett last night, and like the like, da, 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 da,
And you started singing my version.
and I was singing Peter's version, and I was
Yes.
like, oh, I miss Peter's little special version.
So like I did special intros on a few different episodes. The Muppets one I did on our
the
Book
Captain
of
America one was really good.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
this is a good. I actually like this episode. The 5 Marvel movies to explain.
Oh, that one always gets a good conversation
one's
from
good.
any like Marvel movie fan person because everyone has had a different answer.
Yes,
Yes.
it's different every
And then
time.
when you start talking about it, you start to try to convince them
Oh,
that
yeah.
yours is
Oh,
right.
yeah,
You're like,
totally.
this is my watch. Oh yeah, I guess you're right with that. And then somebody will bring out like, I think I think Moon Knight, and I was like, "Oh, shut up!"
Go away. Go away. Yeah, so like that one was good because it had my Captain America
Yeah.
intro. That one was a fun one to do. But and the Muppets episode was a good episode where we talked about Jim Henson's career.
You just
and
say
his
that
life.
because I cry in that one.
I cried too.
I'm all blubbery. I'm like,
I cried too. It was a very
that
good
was an
episode.
emotional episode.
yeah.
I did like our Haunted Mansion
Oh, yeah,
Ghost Stories
that was fun.
episode.
Oh, the ghost story was fun. You nailed it.
Yeah.
You're
You're a great storyteller.
yeah, you're a great storyteller. I always just bring weird things out.
You do. You bring some weird comedy aspect to it. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna follow it up and I'm gonna bring it in.
Let's hope that Sir Michael Caine doesn't sue us for this.
For defamation. Right.
It's not a true story. But it was weird that he did retire
Shortly after.
shortly after that episode released. I
It's
think he was a
true.
little nervous about Sir Reginald.
Right.
So yeah, share with family, like a fun episode. People like our Boy Meets World one.
Yeah, that one-
it really resonates with
That
people.
one comes up a lot. Also our
Star Wars is always good.
No, our hero versus villains episode.
That
songs.
one's really good.
Oh, that was a fun one.
That one a lot of people like to come back to and listen to.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed that one a lot.
it was a good discussion piece.
So yeah, like share what you like and go back. We have almost 130 episodes.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot.
And so there's plenty of topics, and I always get asked when I feel like, oh yeah, I got this podcast, and people are like, which one do you recommend? I'm like, I don't know. We just have so
There's
many
so
ranging
many.
It's like, well,
episodes.
what do you want to hear about?
We don't pigeonhole ourselves into one
No.
thing. I don't think.
We just like to talk whatever.
Yeah,
That's what makes us relevant, because all of our episodes you can listen anytime, because there is no news aspect that's really associated with it.
now I feel like I need to be like, no, you need to donate to family and friends with PBS. Right now, if you're on listening to NPR, the way we're
This
promoting
podcast is brought to viewers like you.
So yeah, please share, and thank you for listening. Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Marahon Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.